Hey everybody, hi, I'm Barb.
I'm Randine.
Kathy.
And this is our
Sclero-What?
Zooming
adventure.
adventures.
So today, you guys, we have a special guest, and she is a reading angel. Her last name is perfect. She is here to educate you and tell you about making reading heavenly. We know since this COVID-19 pandemic has hit, our children have fallen behind in their reading skills. And so Barb and I have a special gift for you, and which is Cathy. She has the greatest program ever. Many teachers could give her great testimonials on how her reading program works. So I'm gonna let Cathy talk about her reading program.
All right. I'm so happy to be with you today. This is very, very fun for me, and it is a deep passion of mine. If you're around me very much, I will be talking about reading because it's what I love. I was gifted a gift in 1998. I know that's a long time ago. I attended the Rochester Reading Institute for teaching dyslexics to read. That changed my life, because when I learned how you teach dyslexic kids to read, specifically for 2 summers, I thought to myself, why are we not teaching everyone to read like that? Because that's what everybody would benefit probably the most from. And so I started, at that point I was just a teacher, I've taught kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, so I've had a lot of experience in a lot of levels. And I came home from this thinking, oh my goodness, this is what we need to be doing in our classroom. So little by little, as I was teaching, I would write curriculum for my classroom. And it's evolved actually into a program that now I sell online. It's called Making Reading Heavenly. And some of the things that I believe about teaching beginning and struggling readers is that you always have to have visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Those 3 things are super important. So every time I put anything into my program, I've tried to be mindful of adding those pieces to it. So here are my sound move cards. So when you're a very beginning reader or a struggling reader, if I have a picture, research shows that'll make a huge difference for me. But the other thing that people don't know is if I put a movement with that, that makes a new connection to my brain that allows me to even remember it better and longer. So all of our sound picture cards have movements and pictures and sounds. So Y is yell, and L is lick. Now what I've had teachers tell me is that when they use these cards with the kids, guess what? They know all the sounds. They don't know the letters of the name anymore or it's harder for them to learn the letters because the sounds have the movements, and that's the piece that's connecting it to that brain that makes it hard for them to learn. So one other thing I'd just like to say is I feel like, and I don't want to make anyone feel bad, but when I went to that Rochester Reading Institute, I was made aware of 6 types of syllables in our language. Every word in our language is made up of one of those 6 syllable types. And I didn't know anything about it. And I had probably been teaching for 18 years prior to that. That was very upsetting to me. So if you're a teacher and you're like, I don't know what she's talking about with 6 syllable types, you got to do some research on it, because that is the bottom key that will help kids that are struggling, especially like a dyslexic child, that will pick up on, because I'm using auditory, visual, kinesthetic things. So here's my closed syllables. That's one of the syllable types. We have a poster for each one. We have big clues for each one. And that will help me to understand how to do the words that have those syllable types in them. Typically, what do you see with a struggling reader? They start out pretty good with the little 3 and 4 letter words. You hit multisyllabic words about 2nd or 3rd grade, and they're suddenly, I don't want to read, it's too hard, I can't sound out the words. That's because they don't have that 6 syllable type knowledge.
And they're not teaching that to teachers in college? Like,
some colleges do, but very few teachers that I have had can say, I know those 6 syllable types, I use them all the time, which just hurts my heart. I mean,
I was going to say, that's amazing to me.
Yeah. It's because we went for a while over to this whole language. We thought kids would just learn to read because of the good language. Well, that's good for 80% of the kids in your classroom. The bottom 20 kids, 20% need to have something they can hang their hat on, some rules and some tools. Yeah. The only other thing that I would like to mention is that the other piece that I feel like teachers and parents don't do with kids, because it takes a long time, is writing. Here's one of my quotes that I personally made up. If you read a word, you rent it. If you write a word, you own it. So if you aren't writing, if your child is not writing when they're learning to read, not writing compositions, I mean, that's good too. But when I'm teaching you the word, the open syllable word silo, let's say, if I don't have you write I-O, that's 2 open syllables. If I don't have you write that, it's just kind of going into your brain and out of your brain. So the cement for our learning comes with the writing. So my daughter, that is an occupational therapist, and I have gotten together and made 2 handwriting programs. One is a manuscript, and we're just rolling out our cursive that actually uses sensory, because Allie in her OT is a big sensory person, uses the sensory mode of getting up and doing the letter whole body, then doing the letter by skywriting, and then finally writing the letter on the small, fine motors paper. But that's kind of a background of who I am and who we are. I would love to answer any questions, or if you have comments for me. I do online Zooms. I can come to schools. I will come to your faculty, or I would just even do your admin and talk to them. If anybody would be interested, just send me an email.
Randine, you've used her program, correct?
Yeah, over 15 years ago. Yeah,
you loved it so much that you're still advocating for
yes, it. Yes. Every year for the last 10 years, I have asked my director if we could meet with Cathy, bring her in to educate us on Making Reading Heavenly, because I haven't used it for 15 years because I've worked with students with behavior disorders and that were older. So now I have learning disabled students and younger. And so this will be wonderful. So I'm so thankful that my director has allowed, we met with Cathy, we Zoom. So any schools interested, she will Zoom with your teacher.
For free, just to give you some free. Yep.
Yeah. And educate you on how she's organized her program, and then the materials, which are really reasonable. And then they'll meet with you again. And
even for parents, like, let's say your school isn't going to go, let's say they're going to go virtual for the first, 2 months of school or 3 months of school. If you want some help on what can I do at home? I know I have a struggling reader. What I will tell you is, and what some teachers say is, just wait, they'll grow out of it. I will never say wait. Do not wait. Every year, every month you let go by, if they're struggling, that is just going to grow. So, don't be afraid. I will certainly talk you through if you would like some guidance or some help. I've got some homeschool things for parents that I have a lot of homeschool moms using too. So, send me an email at makingreadingheavenly@gmail.com. I would love to support you if I can.
Yeah. And do you have a website too, Cathy?
Yep. makingreadingheavenly.com. It's all one word. makingreadingheavenly.com.
And I'll share that on
that'd be awesome.
I'll share it on our post. What else do I want to say? Oh, it's not only, your program is not only for like special education. It's great for EL, and it's great for general education students too.
And the earlier you start, you might say, well, I just have like a 3-year-old. That is the perfect time to start. 3-year-olds can make this. My little granddaughter was the person that did the back of our cards to show us how to do the movement. She was like, I think she was 2 or 3 at the time. She's now.
Yeah. So even for somebody like me, Cathy, that I'm not a mom, honestly, I have nothing to do with the school system other than one of my best friends is a teacher. But I do have nieces and nephews that would be benefited from a program like yours. So could I buy your program to give to my nieces and nephews?
Yep. And you can buy it in pieces or big chunks of it. I mean, it all comes kind of individually. So you could buy these cards They're
Mhm.
$24.95. Or we also have little teeny cards. Little teeny playing cards.
Yeah.
For the playing card size. So kids can do like Old Maid. There's our Old Maid. It's the Reading Wizard instead of the Old Maid. But we have, if they're trying to learn their basic words, their
Yeah.
word list, we have that. Or we have the little picture in the card
Uh-huh.
nice too. So there's a whole bunch of different choices on the website if anybody's
Awesome.
looking at that. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cathy has a lot of tools and a lot of tricks, and it is worth your time to meet with her because you know what? You're going to help kids out. You're going to help kids read. So due to COVID, you guys, we're in a different time right now, and our kids are losing, our students are losing skills. So we need to get these kids reading. And this is a reading angel that will help moms out there and help school districts. So
Awesome. Thank you, Cathy.
Thank
so
you for
much
meeting with
joining
us.
today.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
okay.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.